Give it a second. Man, what is up? What's up? We're just going to take a couple minutes, let everybody get in. As you see, I'm sitting. I promise y'all, and I'm sure most of you can attest to it, we're, of course, in the business of, well, schools. So most of our schools have been closed, right? Especially in the cities that, we work in. What else? Large gatherings. I think that's probably a large, portion of what we do is large gatherings. So I can honestly say, I'm at a state of rest, state of peace, and I hope you are as well. As we wait for everybody to get on, just so funny today, I woke up, and for those of you who have not taken the flight assessment, please go. I don't know if it's flightassessment.com, but I'm telling you, this stuff works. It's a minimal cost. I think it's like $147 to actually take the assessment and, get the coaching. But I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, my wife is a task-oriented person and my daughter, is similar to her mom. And so I already knew, it was going to be the opposite of what I am, right? Again, I love interacting with people, I love talking to people, listening to people, just being in, deep conversations with folks and just interacting. And so sure enough, I worked out this morning. I came upstairs and I asked my wife, I said, what would you like for breakfast? And it was almost a swag of not only breakfast, but kind of like, what's the plan, for this morning? What would you like me to do? I promise y'all, on everything I love. I don't know why I asked that question, but prayerfully, I was ready because of the assessment. I know if my wife has extra time on her hand, we're gonna be doing we're gonna be clearing the to-do list. And and I knew we was gonna go deep because I was just in London for about 48 hours, not actually in London for 48 hours, but the travel was a little bit under 48 hours. And wifey was straight. My daughter called like, Dad, she's killing me. She's cleaning. So I knew we was in for a deep cleaning, right? She had already cleaned. So I knew we were in for a deep cleaning. And so sure enough, mattresses was off, box springs. We sweeping under the bed, vacuuming under the bed, mopping, took towels, between Fabuloso and Pine Sol. We wiping the beds, wiping the white baseboards, any and everything that's not needed in the room, we taking it out. I'm talking about a deep overhaul for your boy ET. And but I calmed myself. I was like, come on, let's go. It's gonna be a lot of this over the next 2 or 3 weeks, so get ready for it. So I'm blessed, as I hope you are. And my rationale for today, I wanted to be able to, give you a message, and not just today. We will be tuning in over the next, whatever it is, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We will be in constant contact with you guys. For those of you who need it, we're going to be here for you. And I'm excited, and forgive me, man. I don't mean to seem, like cold or morbid or, like I don't care. But in 2008, when we went through that recession, most of you who follow us know that was really the birth of ETA. That was the birth of TGIM, of the mixtapes, the book, The Secret to Success, the paraphernalia that we try to make to inspire you, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, be phenomenal or be forgotten. Everything we produced, it came out of that depression. So here's the rationale for today. I believe that's, really that's all I can give you is faith. I believe that we're going to get out of this situation. And I believe that we're going to get out of this situation because I've been in other situations that I've been fortunate enough to come out of and on the good side, right? And I believe what we do during this particular dark time, I believe that what we look like when we come out is going to determine, how we go through this. And I'm going to say that again, because there are those of you who are like, yo, dark time. Y'all know I'm an optimist. But I'm looking at, the news, and you have individuals who have just come back from UK, people who come back from other parts of Europe, and they're like, yo, they were in the line for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yo, when I tell y'all we just missed it, So it's serious. There are countries like Germany, Italy, and they have, stopped them from going to restaurants, going to other public facilities. And the only places they're allowed to go right now is the hospital, pharmacies, grocery stores. So when I say, it's a different time. It's not life as we know it. We've been asked to, stay away as much as we can. I mean, if it hasn't affected you, it's affected us. Like I said, I don't want to give a percentage, but I would dare to say at least 50% of our work is large arenas, with large gatherings. I speak to anywhere from, 1,000 to 10,000 people. And so for some time now, I won't be able to do that. My company won't be able to. As a matter of fact, we have canceled already a couple of engagements. We had one here this past weekend in Arizona that we didn't go to. So when I say dark, I don't know what dark looks like for you, but whatever that means, like we're not going to have life as normal. What we do in this time frame will dictate when we come out of it what it looks like for us, right? And that's important, and that's really what I want to address, because what we did during the Depression in 2008 made us one of the top companies when it comes to inspiration, motivation. So now I think synonymous with motivation, inspiration would definitely be ETA. ET the hip hop preacher. All right. So again, I just want to make sure you're clear. The purpose for today and the next 2 to 3, 4 weeks is helping you do the right thing in a dark moment or in a different moment, so that once we get out of this, you'll be able to get as much as you possibly can from it. All right. So our first slide, I want to show you. You've heard me, use this term, breathe, right? And you're used to hearing it where when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. But there was a moment when I was in the doctor's office with Dee Dee, when she first, it was brought to reality that she had MS, right? And so, it's weird when you first get, information, and the doctors, of course, they have to be realists. So they're explaining to us, she might not be able to see. Again, she might lose her sight. She may lose muscle. She may lose the use of her limbs. She may lose her memory, long term, specifically maybe short term. It was a lot. We were given instructions like, all right, every 6 months she's got to have MRI. Every 6 months we got an eye appointment. Every 6 months. It was a lot. And I remember there was a time in the room with the doctor where I just had to breathe, like literally, like you're getting a whirlwind of information. And like I said, we weren't necessarily, young, like we weren't in our 20s or our 30s at the time. It was early 40s. But I will say this to you. We had never planned on this. And I think that's what makes this situation, so surreal. It's like nobody planned for this. Like you see movies, Outbreak, whatever other movies. Like I haven't seen them personally. I'm not like really a sci-fi dude, but I know they exist, like Outbreak and different movies, right? And so I remember though when the doctor was just, you know, just a whirlwind of information, just a whirlwind of, you know, what ifs. Like literally, I'm looking at Dee Dee and I could see the, I don't know if I could go as far as to say fear, but I'll tell you this, it wasn't the happiest day of our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't the most joyful day. Like we weren't in the hospital like, yeah, let's go. And I remember just having to breathe, you know. And one of the things I want to ask you to do over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm not sure how long this is going to last, but I want you to breathe, like literally. Yep, the ET, you know, the hip hop preacher, the Mr. Grind, no days off. Like, yo, at this time, I remember one of the things that really helped me in that hospital room, there were two things. But the first one was like, breathe, E. Like, you got to breathe, bro. Forget what she's saying. Forget the what ifs. You know, forget how ugly this could get. You know, she talking wheelchair. You know, she was talking bedridden. Like, yo, homegirl, she a physician. So she had to just keep it 100, you know? But I remember like just having to say, you know what? I got to cut all of this off. Like everything you're telling me right now, I just got to cut it off. And I got to breathe. And I'm going to ask you throughout the course of the day, if it gets overwhelming for you, just breathe. You know what I'm saying? Just count to 10 backwards. Just relax. You know, don't get overwhelmed. And look, y'all, I don't know if y'all know, but I'm a lot. I'm a pastor. You know, I got a congregation to think about. You know, should we have had, you know, people come, not go, I'm not even a physician. Like, I'm not even on that. Like, it's just some stuff that's just been hurled at me again. I don't have to do with that. My staff, you know, I'm looking at, okay, the government is doing, you know, 50 billion has been released. You get 2, you know, weeks off sick pay, you know, then they 3 months, you know, you have to worry about your student loans. And then I'm like, okay, I still got to think about, you know, what's the plan with us not getting, you know, engagements or not being able to go and do our events? Like, what's the plan economically to make sure everybody stays afloat? And it's like, breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely, like, you got to think about it, but you can't get overwhelmed. And so if there's any moment throughout, you know, the next, you know, week or 2 or 3, and look, when we go into that second week, perhaps that third week, like for real, it's gonna get like when if there's a curfew, if there's you can't go to the places that you're used to going to, and there's a different schedule, like for real, it's going to have some type of impact. My daughter already crying. She was like, Dad, I'm going to Target. I was like, for what? Like, we already got everything we need. What you going to Target for? She's like, I just can't. Cabin fever. I'm saying cabin fever. We haven't even been in the house 2 days, you know, but she's used to going. Her mom is used to going. So I could see for real, like the anxiety. And I just told my daughter, like, yo, for real, breathe. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's just relax. You know, so I know it's weird coming from ET, but it is in the shirt. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, it's in the shirt. So one of the things I would ask you to do is just for real, breathe. Just take in, you know, I want to say fresh air. I don't know what the air is at this particular time, but just take it in, count, relax, you know. And here's the second thing I had to do. And it's not take what the physician was saying serious. Of course I did. But I had to imagine, what do I want for my wife and my wife's health? So I've heard you tell me about she could be in a wheelchair, she could be bedridden. You know, I get the whole, she could lose her vision, lose her long-term memory, short-term memory, you know, lose the, you know, control of her limbs, like slurred speech. Like, I get it. Like, I heard exactly what she said. But I think one of the things that we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, what do we want life to look like in the next month or the next 2 months or 3 months? Like, what do we hope that will come out of this? you know, and for me, I'm hoping a book will come out of this. You know, I'm actually writing a book called Breathe that I started probably about, I don't know, not maybe a week ago when I came back from London. So catch me. All right, I'm about to move on. Listen to me. I had to breathe. You know, I had to relax when I started feeling, you know, that overwhelming feeling. And for me, it's like I start feeling a tingling in my left arm and like the left side of my face, you know, and way back in the day before I learned how to breathe, I don't know what it was. I forgot what the Bell palsy, whatever they call it, but it was like my joint just like I would literally sometimes speak and just stop slur like a slur boy. And like for real, that was a time when I was just doing a lot and stressed and overthinking and you know whatever, because you know school and Didi with the MS and it was just I was letting it get to me sometimes, and I would literally go back to some of the success series, like if they record it, and you would see me, and I would have to stop. I go outside and calm down, come back in, you know, because speaking. One time I went to the hospital and the doctors was like, "No, you good," you know, EKG boy. It was like, "You good? It's probably stress." So when you feel yourself getting stressed out, you know, you might be in the confines of your home. There might be a lot of people in your house. You might not have a big home, whatever, but just a lot of people there. Y'all stuck in the house together. I told you, I literally had to think through it. It's like, yo, Didi, Jada, we not going nowhere. We stuck in the crib. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm waking up every day kind of thinking that thing through. All right. And then the second one was I couldn't allow the physician's image to become my image for my wife. I just couldn't do it. Like for my wife, that's my wife. For her, it was a patient. No disrespect, but it was a patient. She was doing her job. She could do this, she could do this, she could do that. But in my mind, I saw us going to another level in our relationship. I saw Didi's health improving. I saw us traveling the world. I saw a lot, and I really want you during this time frame to really say, on the other side of this, and for some of you, it might be some financial hardships. I mean, come on, you talk about maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks out of work. I mean, that's a long time, you know. That's a long time, and so I look at Delta; they're taking a $1 billion hit. You got other companies shutting down; they're taking a hit. I think the only people that's really benefiting right now, toilet tissue people. You know what I'm saying? I should have put some stock in the Charmin or something. We could be killing the game right now. But for a lot of companies, they're out. So we might take a financial hit. All right. So here's the next thing after I dealt with, you know, breathing and, you know, just this idea of what I wanted to see for my wife and her health and just our life. Like I wasn't, can I be real? In sickness and in health, without question, like without question. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't see myself confined in my home to my wife in a bed and me having to have, you know, a nurse, and I have to go on the road by myself and come back immediately, you know, so I could be there for my wife. Like that I didn't see it, right? Faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You know, and I'm telling you, in times like these, we need to use our vertical and horizontal faith. You know, again, number 3, we need to use our vertical and our horizontal faith. And there was 3 things I had to do. It's easy to say you believe in something when you don't have a challenge, you know. And one of the things that I have been a little bothered by, you know, is people of faith and how they're responding right now. You know, there's some people of faith who just, you know, for real, they lose it a little bit. Like they're not in a good space. And when Didi was diagnosed with MS, and you know, we got all the what ifs, you know, I had to rely on my faith. First vertical, right? First vertical. And I had to go to my God, you know, and you know, have a serious conversation. You know, and I'm asking you this question, like I'm not really concerned about what you are, to be honest. You know, this is not to persuade you to be of any religious affiliation. That's not what I'm asking. But what I realized when Didi got sick, that this is beyond the scope of me. Like this is not something, I don't have the answer for this. I don't have the control for this. Like this isn't, I can't look at her brain with the 7 legions and speak motivation on her and it's gonna go away. You feel what I'm saying? Like it don't work like that. So it was out of my hands. And I think with this situation that we're dealing with, one of the challenges is that we have a limited amount of control. And for most of us as humans, we feel a lot more comfortable when we have control. You feel me? Like we're happier, life has more meaning when we can be in control, but in a situation like this, it's limited. We may not be able to go, we can't go to school. Most of us can't go to work. In a minute, you're not going to be able to leave your house. That's what they're talking about next. You'll be limited to grocery stores, pharmacies, maybe like other countries, so that's the reality. You're going to be limited. And that's what scares us, that we're limited. And so I had to go to my God because I know he's not limited. I know that he's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And although I had lost control with my wife, I had to rely on the one that I knew that was still in control, and I used to always hear people say, you got to trust him when you can't trace him. And so my relationship with God had always been, but now I realize it was an anchor, like a big ship with an anchor. And so I'm asking you, what is your anchor? Like this is the time to really think about what is your anchor. And if you have an anchor, I mean, embracing that anchor, locking in on that anchor. Did I pray more when Didi was sick? Probably not. But was my prayer more intense? Absolutely. I probably still did the hour and a half. Boy, but when I tell you that, I'm saying intense. I just remember like being locked in and focused. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Those of you who are in a position of faith, like you've been a believer in whatever you believe in for years, like, yo, it's time to take it to another level. And it's times like these that, allow us to take it to the next level. It's like game 7, like, oh, we always should be, absolutely. But game 7, it just seemed like Jordan took it to another level. LeBron, Kobe took it to another level. The game 7s of life, the marathons. It seemed like the last 2 miles, last mile, those marathon runners, the adrenaline kick in, and they just take it to another level. It is in times like these that we have an opportunity to take our faith to a whole nother level. Why? Well, one, there's no basketball, no football, no soccer, no baseball, no lacrosse, no skiing, no diving, no UFC fight, no boxing, no nothing. And so use the extra time to really, anchor down, embrace your faith, right? And so, I just found myself, and it was funny, I read somewhere today, I think it was on Erica Campbell's Instagram. She was saying that more, gospel music is being played. I think maybe more religious television is being watched, sermons, whatever. I know we had over 4,000 and some people tuned in yesterday. I don't know the numbers normally. I'm not 100% sure if that was average, good or bad. I don't know, but I know we had over 4,000. It was refreshing, right, to see that there were, 4,000 people plus their families, who found it necessary yesterday, just to get it created a little bit more time, So then the horizontal faith, like it was, I've always had a community, but my community just seemed more important, more needed, like more visible, during the time when Didi was diagnosed with MS. It just seemed that, the community was closer to us, and maybe not in proximity, but in heart, in spirit, so people were calling for prayer and, do you guys need anything? Is everything all right? And even now in this situation, I was amazed at how many people text. It was like, E, you good? Everything good? I'm like, yeah, Michigan right now, we haven't had many cases, but it was just good to know that the community was like at alert, at attention, like, yo, let's go. And so I would say to you, one, your relationship with your creator. And if you don't have one, I think you need to get one. Number 2, with your community, whoever your community is, draw closer, draw near. And that's what Breathe is about. This Breathe community is about. If you don't have a community, we want to be your community, right? And we want to be with you for the next, couple weeks, really pouring into you, all right? And then the final one was me. I had to draw closer to myself, in that time frame. And, what was weird was in times like these, you can get rid of stuff. And I was able to get rid of, I'm just being real, stuff I shouldn't watch or listen to, in relationships. Like it was the time to clean house. And so here's the time for you to push the refresh button, the restart button. Here's the time to look at life a little bit more serious than maybe you had been before. So what is your source? So for me, my relationship with, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, my relationship with my community drew stronger, my relationship with myself, really getting rid of stuff and becoming more Eric Thomas. And look, I'm gonna tell you, people who know me, see a tease and it's like, yo, E became way more, of a pilot, like taking control. And I did, because I realized, there's some people pulling at me and my wife that right now we need to pull on each other. Like, I don't have that. She doesn't have that energy, or she doesn't have that type of time she had before. Like, she just doesn't have it. We need to get her strong, from the Copaxone to, changing her health to getting more rest. I remember just sleeping during the day. Like, I would have to take naps during the day. I wasn't sick. She was. I wasn't tired. She was. But it was like, I had to start saying no to people, because there were people who, even though she was sick, it didn't bother them. Like, they still wanted to, use us as a resource. And I was like, not right now. So who's your community? Who's your anchor? Who are you in these times? And you know what? These times will reveal a lot about you. And I would say, don't, like, if you're a person that is fearful, can y'all do me a favor? If you're an optimistic person, like, leave pessimistic people alone. Like, if you optimistic and they realist, leave them alone. Don't say, why are you so fearful? Why are you scared? They were built like that. It's not a disease. They are more methodical. They are more careful. They're more cautious, and that can be good at times. We don't need people right now who are not cautious. We need folks spraying stuff down with Lysol, washing hands, cleaning countertops, staying clean. Like, we don't need just optimism in time like this. Let people who are, my wife, okay, I don't know the word to use, but when she saw them 7 legions on her brain, like, yo, that was a scary time. And who am I to go, be optimistic, only think positive? No, she needed to really think that, what do I have and what's going on? And how do we beat this? And, like, yo, you gotta be for real. Like, you can't be playing when you got a chronic illness. Like, there are things that you have to do to take care of your body. So stop telling people you overdoing it. No, we all process information different. The only thing I would tell a person who's fearful is face that fear, like, for real. Like, go talk to that fear and get to the root of it. Like, what are you afraid of? What do you need to be cautious of? What do you need to be concerned about? What can you control and what can't you control? And know the difference between the two. And don't let it paralyze you. If you are addressing your fears and it paralyzes you, it turns you ugly, it turns you into somebody you don't want to be, then you need to turn it off, right? And how do you do that? You go to your sources, your community, your God, your anchor. You go your music, your Bible. I probably, when Didi got sick, I probably looked up every promise, I wanted to remind myself. I don't know that the creator needed to be reminded of what he said, but I wanted to remind myself of what he said. And I wanted to draw on that. I wanted to draw on, you shall live and not die. I wanted to draw on, greater is he that is in you than he that's in his world. Like, I wanted to draw on, the Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shepherd. As I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I shall fear no evil. For God is with my rod and my staff. They come. Like, I not even for Didi's health. I just want to stay emotionally, like, connected, emotionally sound. I just wanted to stay pumped up. And so, what's your source? All right. What's your source? What's your routine? This is so critical, man, because You know, when you get into a dark place, like if you're not careful, you can find yourself in the bed with the lights off, you know, thinking some crazy stuff. And have you ever noticed when you start doing that, you don't have no energy. You don't have no energy for your family. You don't have no energy for yourself. And you could go into a real dark place. And that's where I want to keep you from, because the greatness that's in you needs to shine right now. Look, I don't want to sound like no broken record, but if you've ever lit a candle or cut a flashlight on in the daytime, it's not really effective. It's not that deep. But if you've ever lit a candle when the lights or the power went off in your house, I don't know what it is about that light in darkness, but it shines. I don't know what it is about that flashlight that when you turn that joker on, when the power source is going up like a storm, you know, knock the power out of your house. Like, yo, that flashlight, she beaming. I'm talking about beaming. And so this is a time where, you know, you need to really be cautious of your routine. I need you to work out. I need you to get up, especially for those of us that don't have to go to work. I need you to get up. You know, you're working from home. I need you to get up 30 minutes, at least to an hour. I want you on the treadmill. I want you doing jumping jacks, you know, push-ups, running in place. Like, I need you to get that blood flowing. Like, don't spend the majority of your day thinking. Let your creator do that. Let your creator do that. All right. Don't spend a lot of time. What if and what if, like, don't spend a lot of time saying what if to something you can't change. Like, if you can't change it, don't spend a lot of time on it. But if you go, what if, you know, we get germs on the kitchen counter? Okay, go wipe them. But wipe them once. Don't wipe them 80 times. Wipe them one time. Put some bleach in the dishwasher and dishwater, and wash the dishes. You know, like wash your clothes, like whatever. You know, wipe, but don't consume yourself with that, because guess what's gonna happen? Life is gonna go back to how we know it. And a lot of people who went through the recession and really got hit hard, they never bounced back. Not only did we bounce back, we became one of the top companies in the world during 2008, the recession. Why? Because we were creating content. We were doing videos. You feel me? So what's your routine? Take a bath. Take a bath, like literally a bath, soak in some Epsom salt, burn a candle, like do some of the stuff that you can't normally do. Relax, work, get some stuff done that you can't normally get done. Like, you got 24 hours. Don't sleep it all the way. Don't sleep it all the way through. You got 24 hours. Get a routine, spending time with your family, pushing that reset button as a family. Uno, Monopoly, Twisters, you know what I'm saying? Trouble. Give me some more stuff. It's a whole bunch of games. I was trying to think of the one, Stratego. That was my game. Battleship. You saved my Battleship. You know, but 4 squares, whatever that is. Just enjoy your family. Write some notes. Send some emails to some folks. Text people that you love. Call people you haven't called in a while. But get a tight routine that's going to preoccupy you from all the stuff that's going on. And if they give you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, look, in those 4 weeks, something powerful should come out of those 4 weeks, but you have to have a routine. You can't be, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be deliberate and intentional, all right? Stay engaged, especially to all my introverts out there. Stay engaged. Introverts, stay engaged. Don't let isolation get you. Don't withdraw from people. This is the time, of course, you need your own space and your own time, but this is not the time to fade away. It's not the time to withdraw. Stay engaged. Churches, Zoom, prayer meetings should still go on from your house. There should be, you know, prayer meetings, testimony meetings, you know, still going on. Today, we had our call, and I'm talking about, it was fire call. Some of the churches, you might need to do more calls, more Zooms, you know, people who live in the neighborhood, you know, we can maybe have some small interaction with each other, you know, like if y'all live in the same neighborhood from the churches, like meet up, Zoom, no, FaceTime, you know, whatever your video web sources, stay connected with people. This is the time to stay connected. You know, when we're working, we don't have time. We getting up, getting ready for work. We work, we come home tired, we eat, we watch our favorite program or do whatever we do. We're in the bed. This is a time to get closer to family, your sisters, your brothers, your aunts, your uncles, your grandma, your father, your mother. This is the time. And do me a favor. For those of you who are already in a family, do not forget people who live alone. Do not forget your aunt that lives alone, your cousin that lives alone, the next door neighbor, like whatever. Make them some soup or a sandwich. Like if you're cooking, try to do extra, give it to somebody in the neighborhood. All right. Let's just stay engaged, united, connected. All right. I love it. All right. I love it. All right. So here's our last piece, and I've alluded to it already. But the SWOT analysis, I really want you to focus on the opportunities, right? And the threats. I want you to focus on both. So let's talk about the threats. And right now the threat is the coronavirus. The threat is spreading it. So there's a threat. So I have some natural cold and flu supplements that I'm taking, some liquids that I'm taking. There's some other over-the-counter stuff that we're taking. I went yesterday to the market. I brought fruit, vegetables, making sure that, you know, my oranges, my greens, you know, Organifi. I'm making sure that, you know, I'm on that water. Man, I must have ordered enough water to float on a cruise, right? But we drinking water. For those of you who have purified systems at home, you might want to go out and buy one if you need one. But get your water, right? It's real. It's a threat. Get your rest. Make sure your body's strong. That's why I said work out. My wife and I clean. When I told you we clean, we clean. Guess what? Open one of the windows, got some fresh air in there. It was decent in the 40s today. Couldn't keep it open forever, but open the window, got a little fresh air, get some air circulating, you know, throughout the house. Close the windows. Back, like I said, we use Pine Sol, Fabuloso. I know it may not be a disinfectant, but yo, it smells good. It makes me feel good. All right. Spray some cologne around the house, whatever, you know, but there's a threat, you know, the virus, coronavirus. So we got to protect ourselves. There's a threat. A lot of people at home, a lot of personalities, you know, you got younger kids, teenagers, whatever. Let's try to work with each other. If you have done the flight assessment, take your assessments out and learn how to influence people. All right. How to what's the term? How to win friends, win family, and influence family. All right. But there are opportunities too. There are opportunities. You have more time than you've ever had before. So as I mentioned, there's some things you could get done. For us, it's been podcast was an opportunity. The Breathe University community was an opportunity. Mixtapes was an opportunity. Literature was an opportunity. Just a lot of different things, you know, one-on-ones, the assessment, coaching became an opportunity for us. And right now, the new opportunity is because we are asked to stay in the home. Breathe University was our community, but now our new community is Breathe. You know, and we're going to offer you guys an opportunity to join us on that platform. And the reason why we're going to give you an opportunity to do it is because Facebook, you're already there. And Facebook has literally, before this even happened, I don't know if you saw the commercials, but there have been commercials out. You know, you got Rocky, what's his name? Chris Rock. You know, you got these different commercials where Facebook is like, yo, community. And so since Facebook is already created a community, we're going to invite you to join us for free again. It's no cost. There's no hidden cost. There's no gimmicks. You know, it's nothing like that. But for the next, again, however long it is, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, like as we were in 2008 with you through YouTube. I think that was the only forum back in the day was YouTube. That was the forum we used. So now we have Facebook, and most of you are already there. And so we're going to be giving you messages every day. We're going to be giving you opportunities to communicate with us, opportunities to stay engaged and just, use our own personality strengths, to help each other to get through this, like really be a community, and get through this. So again, we thank you for joining up. Again, there are a lot of opportunities. I want you to take a piece of paper. I want you to put a line down the middle, a line over the top, and I just want you to put, coronavirus at the top, COVID-19. You know what I'm saying? I want you to put opportunities, threats, write all the opportunities, write all the threats. On the other side, I want you to write routine, and I literally want you to decide what time you're going to wake up, what time are you going to go to bed, and what are you going to do during that time? How much time are you going to spend with your creator? And there are those of you like, yo, E, I don't have, I'm not from a faith-based community. Carl, can you help me out? I want to send you to go through APOC. I think it's APOC Ministry, apocministry.org, or Facebook. You can go on Facebook. The community is there. APOC Ministry there as well. There's sermons for, sermons go back, prayers going out for you guys. If you have prayers, make sure you put them on this community, to breathe community, and we will make sure that we address your prayer requests. We'll have some people reach out to you and pray with you. But this is a time where we just all need to come together. Like I said, many of us have maybe not been here before, but we've experienced our darkness before, our storm before. And let's not experience it like we experienced the last one. We know much more than we knew before. We're older than whatever we went through before, and we can glean from that. And more importantly, we can take all of our experiences and put them together and help each other not just get through this storm, but come out, with flying colors. There's a story in the Bible where they talk about the 3 Hebrew boys going into the fire, and when they came out the fire, they didn't even smell like smoke. And that's what I hope will happen for us as we go through these next, few weeks together. I pray that when we come on the other side of this, that this would be more of a blessing for us than it has been a curse for us. And as I leave you, I just want to give you my testimony. What I saw in that hospital room when I breathed, when I saw the vision for my wife and my family, that's where we are now. Okay, are you hearing what I'm telling you? Like, that's where we are. The stuff that the doctor said, it didn't happen for us. The stuff that you're hearing on the news, you're hearing people say, you don't have to embrace that as your reality. My wife, as a matter of fact, when she was cleaning today, the bed frame, she actually jumped over the bed frame and looked at me like, yo, I couldn't do that, 7 months ago, 3 years ago, the energy to clean up. She didn't even take a nap. I don't think she's taken a nap in the last few months. All right. So the vision that we had for her is a reality right now. That's the vision, not the vision that the doctor had. We came out of MS with flying colors. And most people who don't know my wife, most people who know her, can't look at her and even tell that she was ever diagnosed with MS. All right. Because we get to decide our reality, and we get to decide our reality. So I'm asking you would breathe and join us in this community as we'll spend the next few weeks together, helping each other to get on the other side of this. Thank you so much for your time. And we look to see you guys tomorrow. Let's go.